In accordance to the post-apartheid educational reforms, South Africa introduced and implemented the Higher Education Act 100 of 1997 across all public and private institutions. The core mandate of this act was to regulate, to monitor, to oversee the systems in higher education institutions in order to bridge the gap of societal inequalities while promoting inclusiveness, promoting quality education assurance and opportunities. The objectives outlined by this act include, but are not limited to, access and equity, collaborations and partnerships, redress, and funding. In this study, we give a brief review of how, in consonance to these objectives, the Vaal University of Technology implemented this act, as well as discussing the various impacts and challenges attached to this pursuit of transformation from its inception till date.
On our group, I will be covering objectives. Under objectives, I will be doing funding and sustainability, research and innovation. A financial framework was designed for public universities to ensure they operated with transparency and distributed funds efficiently. The state has provided funding to VUT, the purpose of which is to allow university to fortify its infrastructure, to bolster support to the students, and expand its research capabilities. Research and innovation. The Act mainly aims at promoting research and production of knowledge. At VUT, our ambition is to take research in engineering, applied science, and technology to the next level, not only because it affects students and the university itself, but also it has the potential to influence our country and its global competitiveness. Thank you.
South Africa is a country with a legacy of divided social orders based on race, class, gender, and location, which are major challenges and contributing factor to social inequalities. At the present time, higher education institutions in South Africa are regulated and monitored by the legislative principle and procedure as contained in the Higher Education Act 1997, Act 101 of 97, which states that it is desirable for the HEIS to enjoy freedom and autonomy in the relationship with the state within the context of public accountability and national need for advanced skills and scientific knowledge. While autonomy is granted, the government, through the Ministry of Education, monitors, support, and regulate processes and policies applied in the HEIS. Since such policies must be in compliance with the administrative governance of the state. Currently, there seems to be a lack of clear standpoint by government in South Africa regarding the use of language in the HEIS and whether a common official language must be used as opposed to the use of 9, 3, or only 2 official languages. Universities are at the liberty to apply their own policies in respect of which language to select to teaching purposes and depending on the geographical area in which they are located. But even with this choice, African languages are used minimally since no subject, module, or course or other than an African language course is taught in the local languages at these universities. All subjects are offered in English, while Afrikaans is used as an alternative. The reality is that the claims to offer any of the other South African official languages at universities levels appears to be mere rhetoric or a way of gaining political ground. Despite the views of the scholars such as Alexander and Van der Merwe that the use of a home language could help South Africans to cope better in schools, this does not automatically translate to a successful transition to use indigenous languages nationally or at HEIS in South Africa. By the same token, not everyone could be taught in all 11 languages at the HEIS, so one common language has to be used, and logically that should be English, since it is not only a national but also internationally recognized language. I thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sibyl Banat, History of the Transformation, Group 7. Our topic for this assignment is the Higher Education Act of 1997. I am covering the objective part that talks about access and equity. And in access and equity, we then spoke about promoting the increased access to higher education institutions, specifically to the historically disadvantaged group, while ensuring that everyone is given a fair and equal opportunity to pursue their studies. That was according to Mojaki in 2018. And we then spoke about the university which this act impacted, that is the Vaal University of Technology. And the mission for the Vaal University of Technology, according to this Higher Education Act, was it must promote employable graduate that makes an impact in the society. I thank you.
Moving forward to the next topic, I would like to discuss the Higher Education Act's objectives of 1997. To better understand the Higher Education Act, let's delve into its objectives as stated in the 1997 Act. Transforming the higher education landscape in South Africa requires a clear understanding of the Higher Education Act's objectives. These objectives serve as the foundation for creating a higher education system that promotes a unified and democratic higher education system. And it also ensures that all citizens have access to higher education. It also promotes equality amongst all the higher education institutions, as well as it ensures quality and efficiency across the higher education landscape. These objectives are intended to apply to all higher education learning institutions in the country, including Vaal University of Technology. I will now allow my next member to delve or analyze each objectives that we have mentioned. Thank you very much.
Good day, my name is Tebole Bite, and my focus will be on the implementation of the Higher Education Act of 1997 at the Vaal University of Technology. The Higher Education Act of 1997 was enacted at the Vaal University of Technology in alignment with its transformation from a technikon to a University of Technology. The Act provided the legal and regulatory framework for the Vaal University of Technology's governance, academic structure, quality assurance, quality promotion, and overall functioning as a public higher education institution in South Africa. The first point would be institutional transformation, the transformation from a technical to a university. The Act enhanced transformation of South African universities to reflect democratic values, inequalities, and broaden access to higher education. Before the Act, the Vaal University of Technology was known as a Vaal Triennial Technical and primarily focused on technical and vocational education. By outlining the operational and governance adjustment necessary for Vaal University of Technology to operate as a University of Technology. The second point will be governance and leadership structures. The Act needed all higher education institutions, including VUT, to have a council, senate, institutional committee for governance and decision making. Thank you.
Afternoon, everyone. My project that I'm supposed to do today is implementation of Act 1997. So the Vaal University of Technology has demonstrated a strong commitment to academic quality assurance and promotion, aligning its effort with the guidelines of the Higher Education Act. This commitment was first evident in 1999 with the introduction of its research doctorate program, designed to equip individuals with skills and knowledge that needs to conduct independent research on original ideas. This aim to contribute meaningful to the respective fields of study and address the broader social challenges. VUT transformed a journal with us marked in 2002 when the institution awarded its first honorary doctorate to the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a global recognized anti-apartheid advocate and human rights activist. The honor emphasized the university dedicated to recognize the individual who embody its values of social transformation and human dignity. By 2012, VUT expanded its initiative to ensure a continuous growth in quality assurance and academic promotion. One of its flex projects during this period was Southern Gauteng Science and Technology Park, an extension of VUT. This initiative focused on adopting cutting-edge technology and fostering a scholarly environment that encourages innovation and learning. Additionally, the university launches an entrepreneurship program in partnership with SASOL, aiming to empower disadvantaged youth with practical skills, knowledge, and entrepreneurship, thereby contributing to economic development. And then also it aligned the milestone in 2002 was the establishment of the Center for Sustainable Livelihoods. This postgraduate research center, part of the VUT Technology Research Hub in Africa, utilize research as a tool to combat poverty, household food insecurity, and malnutrition. This effort collectively underscores VUT's unwavering dedication to social
impact academic excellency and the empowering of marginalized community. By integrating innovation, research and education, VUT remains a leading example of how higher education institution can drive positive changes and contribute to a sustainable development.
And I will be discussing the financial impact faced by the Vaal University of Technology as it aligns with the Higher Education Act of 1997. This alignment has brought both success and limitations, the biggest achievement being the role that NSFAS has played in funding millions of students from disadvantaged backgrounds. VUT also offers scholarships and bursaries to students that demonstrate great academic abilities, easing their expenses and encouraging them to focus on their educational endeavors and growing their academic abilities. Despite these benefits, VUT still faces financial challenges such as managing funding and allocating funding to all deserving students. However, VUT has the necessary support systems to make sure that all students achieve their academic goals. Thank you.
I'll be doing my presentation under impact analysis, focusing on the curriculum. The restructuring at the Vaal University of Technology has led to a significant overhaul of its curriculum, resulting in a more diverse and integrated academic offering. This transformation has enabled the institution to expand its portfolio of programs, catering to both academic and vocational students. The students benefited from an increased range of course options, allowing them to acquire modern and also relevant skills that's going to enhance their career prospect. Reflecting to the goals of the Higher Education Act, the Vaal University of Technology has made a significant strides in increasing access to higher education for underrepresented groups, including students from rural areas and those who are from disadvantaged backgrounds. Scholarships, funding opportunities, and support programs were also implemented to enhance inclusively. Thank you.
Dear colleagues, my name is Mabokozo Itwa. I'm here presenting the limitations and challenges affecting Vaal University of Technology infrastructure. I see there is lack of labs, lack of classrooms there at Vaal, and there are lack of student accommodation. So it affects students negatively. Some they end up dropping out due to lack of housing, as they won't have a place to stay during their study. And as soon learners drop out, it led to the lecturers' retention. It creates unsafe environments to the students as well as to the lecturers, hindering the fulfillment of the safety needs of both students and Vaal workers. Thank you.
It is evident that the Vaal University of Technology has been met with several unforeseen challenges as a consequence to the implementation of the Higher Education Act 101 of 1997. Furthermore, it is imperative that one notes that the implementation of various components of the Act have an extent to which they will see success, thus presenting challenges and or limitations. Some challenges that were at the helm of the Act's effect are, but not limited to, equity and quality and the administration policy. I will bring attention to equity and quality. It is of utmost importance that one understands that equity and quality do not exist in isolation, thus magnifying the essentiality of improving access while attempting to reduce barriers to learning, such as the delivery of hybrid lessons. Yet a great deal of learners still struggle with attaining necessary equipment for this, in addition to the numerous learning skills and or barriers that may not be spoken to. For example, having kinesthetic learners or auditory learners. Now, although the attempts made by the Vaal University of Technology have been met with equal and or a degree of evident limitations, it is important that a positive light be shed upon the plans to redress the injustices and the standards of the past, evident in the various policies within the institution, for example, the social justice transformation approach.